Hello again, everyone, and welcome to this latest edition of Blues Clues. So good to have you with us from our XBTV studios. And here on Blues Clues, I am happy to welcome Ralph Nix to the broadcast.
Jason.
Thank you, my friend. How does Breeders' Cup winning trainer Ralph Nix sound?
Yeah, all is well. I mean, looking back at last year, it was an amazing year. Ended up awesome.
Caledonia Road, Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner. Just talk about the ride she has taken you, your family, your staff, the whole operation on.
Well, it was all kind of sudden. I mean, she got good at Saratoga, broke her maiden at the end of it, and then it was a whirlwind for 60 days, basically. I mean, she breaks her maiden, runs well in the Frazette. All of a sudden, you've seen her blossom some more, and then to go to California and her run the way she did and end up being the champion, it's just been an amazing, amazing run.
As a Texas kid, I remember you, I think it was the beginning of January, tweeting out a picture of your old stomping grounds where you learned to ride match races as a teenager. Picture of a two-stall rusted out gate in the middle of nowhere, essentially. We'll get back to that in a second. I'm just wondering for you, when you can stop and breathe for a second, what's it like with your upbringing and your career to now be training, a champion two-year-old filly like Caledonia Road?
Well, I mean, it's one of them things. As a kid growing up in Texas, we used to get the Thoroughbred Record, which doesn't exist anymore, and that was the magazine that I read all the time. And, see the people that did well at that time, and it was pretty special. We had 3 channels on the TV, ABC, CBS, and NBC. You got to see the Triple Crown races, and that was it for as any public broadcast. So it was very, very fun.
Now, you've been in the game pretty much your whole life. Tell us a bit about your upbringing, because your dad, Morris Nix, a very successful trainer.
Yeah, Dad's done very well himself. As a kid growing up, we had 2 to 3 horses at Oaklawn Park and Louisiana Downs. Mom and Dad had 2 jobs. In the morning, I had chores before I got on the school bus to go to school, and I was the one that got home first and had to tend to the horses in the afternoons.
Mm-hmm. So it's been, basically your lifelong ambition to be a trainer, because you also rode as a jockey for a brief period. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I had a 3-year stint. Had a good apprenticeship at Louisiana Downs. Went to New York for a while, but a whole lot better horse trainer than jockey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question about it. Now, taking a step from a now retired jockey turned assistant trainer, you sign up with Bill Mott in the late 80s, 1989, I believe, and watch his evolution and be a part of that operation. Tell us a little bit about your tenure working for one of the greatest thoroughbred trainers of all time.
It was good. A lot of hours. We were all young. Bill's 14 years older than me, so I'm 22 at the time, turning 23. So Bill was 36. There was a lot of energy there. There was a lot of good horses. There was a lot of long days, but interesting enough, it was always very rewarding with what we walked up and down the barn and looked at and worked on every day. Now,
you were with Mott at the time. Cigar comes from California, very much unheralded, almost a failure on turf. He would go on to win 16 consecutive races, be a 2-time Horse of the Year. He's still it's a tie. Holy Bull and Cigar 1-2 in my heart and soul. What was that like working with Cigar during his whole run?
It was an awesome run. It was amazing. You knew every time he went over there that he was going to show up. He was normally going to do something special, and it was something that I got to experience that unfortunately a lot of people in the game will not get to, because there's only so many of those kinds. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's only, you only have a select few horses that are what you call great or special horses. The Citation, Cigar, and Arrogate. Gun Runner turned that way at the end of his career. Yep. Late also. You don't really have. You have a lot of champions and a lot of really good horses, but those great horses, it's something to be able to even be able to touch one, much less be a part of.
And very instrumental, I might add, from what I've read, Paradise Creek's career. He was a champion turf horse back in the mid-90s. Is he perhaps on turf the best grass horse you've ever been around, if you had to pick one?
I would say so. I mean, there's no doubt there. I mean, he was very special. It took a while for him to turn the tables on lure, but there again, I mean, when he went over there, you knew you were going to get something special. Mm-hmm. I mean, he may get in trouble, get beat. You know, lure had more speed than him early on. Sometimes we couldn't get to him, and but it was a big run, and he was a lot of fun because he was a big challenge in the mornings.
As a whole, what keys that you learned working for Bill do you still daily take with you to work and maybe just life in general?
I think the big thing was, you know, we spent a lot of hours around the horses and all, and learning to read the animal. You know, some of the new stuff nowadays with all the numbers and that way that a lot of people go about it is good, but I still think for me the best is looking at the horses, watching them, you know, when they train or after a race or running, reading the animal on what is, you know, what he's feeling, or, you know, are they in stress, not in stress, they doing it easy or really having to work at it. I think those years there, being able just to be around the horse itself.
Florida racing, you're a year-round presence here at Gulfstream Park and in South Florida. Tell us a bit about the journey, where you were at that point in your training career when you decided to basically move after shipping around and being at a number of top circuits, deciding just to kind of just drop anchor. What's that journey been like?
It was, you know, I had don't want to say it, up and down career, but yes, somewhat up and down after on my own. You know, first 3 years were good, then it went, you know, a little bit south, not terrible, but, you know, kind of up and down, up and down. I've been traveling since I was 16 on the racetrack, year-round racing, Gulfstream Park, good weather year-round. All had some big attractions. I wasn't setting the world on fire, just making a living. I was like, well, if I'm just going to make a living, why have to move and do it? Mm-hmm. You know, you can have some home roots. It's like every year now, some part of the month, even when I have outside horses somewhere, I do go home. So I think that's a big part of it.
And your growth in terms of numbers and horses that you have and owners, I think, is probably paralleled perfectly to the growth of Florida's year-round product here at Gulfstream Park, mainly in the summertime.
Absolutely. I mean, I came in here with 12 horses when they opened the gates, and you know, now we carry 50 to 60. Have built a very, very good clientele, and I think with the Gulfstream product and racing here year-round, there was a lot of new owners that wanted to come down, and I think my timing was good.
Now, going full circle, Caledonia Road, how's she looking? How's she training? Congratulations, by the way, on being champion 2-year-old filly with her. And what does the immediate future, in your eyes, have in store for Caledonia Road?
We'll let her tell us what she wants to do. She's very forward right now for, you know, she had an ankle chip removed, nothing, very, very, very minor thing. But, you know, so we had a little setback, but, you know, this morning training at Palmetto, she's training great. She's wanting to do more. You know, I could see her working pretty soon, and I don't think it'll take her a long time, but with that being said, I don't want to get too far in front of her.
Did you almost have to pinch yourself, though, not only with her winning the juvenile fillies out at Del Mar, winning it with Mike Smith, who you go way back with? What was that like?
Well, it was a lot of fun. It, you know, obviously, I mean, when the Breeders' Cup is a special thing, there again, there's only, you know, so many people that's got to win each one of those races. And to do it with Mike, with us going back to we were 16, 17 years old together, it made it special.
Great. Well, this was special. Thanks for your time, Ralph.
Jason.
And thank you, everybody, for watching Blues Clues. We'll see you next time right here from the XBTV studios.